I saw a piece on TMZ. Uh, Chuck Liddell. They interviewed Chuck Liddell and they were asking Chuck about BJ Penn, about BJ's situation, being knocked out. Should he still be able to fight Nick Lentz? Now, I don't know when that Nick Lentz fight is, by the way, but I know that's coming up. I want to say that's October. I mean, that's right around the corner. And Chuck said no. Chuck said, no, hey, he needs to pull out of that fight. You know, concussion's a real thing. He's got to go take care of himself. One guy's opinion, but let's elaborate on that. And you guys have to understand, when you fill out a form through a commission applying for a license, you must disclose when your last knockout occurred. You've got to say specifically the day, everything of those details. If you do not do that, you would be falsifying a form, and that could come with a disciplinary action. You could get suspended. You could get fired. It's a big deal. If BJ were to fill that form out and to say, I haven't been knocked out in X amount of years, and try to just use a fight by example. I mean, the commission wants to know all the way, did this happen in practice? How often are you sparring? How many days a week? Have you ever been concussed in practice? It gets pretty specific. If he were to answer that and not disclose that, which is already on film, and somebody wanted to come out and be a dick about it, they could. They would have the evidence that they need. And they could pull his license. Not only for that fight, if he signed the bottom of the form, they could go in further. This isn't meant as much to talk about BJ as just to share a little insider knowledge with you guys, and BJ happens to be in this situation. This is a very real thing. I can only imagine, and don't forget, guys, I'm not kicking BJ Penn. I like BJ Penn a lot on a human level. Known him for a very long time. I could just say wonderful things about it. But to look at him and observe this and share with you guys, because he is a name that we all know, I feel like, to put myself in this spot, I feel like over time, if I'm losing fights to John Jones or to Fedor or to Machida, over time, you guys would come to me and go, you know, Chael, maybe we shouldn't be doing this line of work anymore. And I'm not saying you're not a skilled guy, Chael. I'm not trying to put you down. Fedor was big, and, you know, Machida jumps up. He's got those tricky knees, and it's just a hard... But maybe we shouldn't be doing this anymore. I'm not going to love having that talk. But at some point, you guys are going to bring me that talk, right? If I'm getting cleaned up in a street fight against a drunk who has no skills and no formal training, I feel like we're having a totally different conversation. And it's probably not as nice and it's not as pleasant. And those excuses aren't really going to be built in place about a guy's size or another guy's jumping knees. It's going to be just straight up, hey, you can't do this anymore. I could only imagine if I was to call a friend up and go, hey, I got to tell you a story. I was at the club the other night, and, you know, I end up in this tussle with this guy. Whoa. Chael, whoa. Where were you? Yeah, I was at the club the other night. So anyway, me and this guy go outside because he was in they go, whoa, you were where? Like, I don't even know if I would get to the point with my circle of entrusted friends that are near and dear to, I don't even know if I would get to the point where we step outside, he takes his t-shirt off, and we get into it. I think they'd be stuck. You were at a what? What do you mean a club? You were at a golf club? You were playing golf? What do you mean club? No. Ooh, and drinks and people everywhere. It's 1 a.m. on a Thursday. I would never, with my friend, I would never even get to the part where we go outside and start throwing fists at one another. Right there, they would go, Chael, we don't go to clubs anymore. You have children. You're 40 years old. You don't go to a club on a Thursday at 1 a.m. I don't care who was at fault in the fight at all. Why were you fighting? They asked Chuck about that too, by the way. They asked Chuck, you know, how do you deal with somebody who comes up to you and, you know, maybe thinks they can get a little shine because they know who you are. So, and Chuck said, you know, I just have fun with it. He said, I really don't have to deal with that very much. But when I do, I usually mess with the guy. I try to laugh it off. And I liked his answer because there is a skill to being house trained, right? I mean, I do hear many guys hang their hat on the argument of, well, he attacked me first. I had the right to defend myself, or he's a jerk, or he grabbed, whatever it could be. And that works. I mean, that from a legal standpoint, it does matter who the aggressor was. I get from a non-legal standpoint, if you are a trained prize fighter, this is real simple. Show me the prize. Do we have an agreement? Is there a win and is there a show? If you fight for nothing, it's because you're worth nothing. That may not be pleasant for you to hear. If you fight for free, if you fight for $1, it's because you are worth $1.